Okay.
Poly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood. Now suck
Politics.
your blood.
It's Newsom science, baby! Ha!
Oh, no.
Guns.
No.
You got to get out of there, man.
I will be on this sinking Titanic as we secede from America and we start to go down the dark tunnel of communism.
Of Gavin. Yeah.
Yeah. APnews.com.
Don't worry, he's faking it. He's not a real commie. He's just faking it to get elected.
Doesn't make me feel better.
Okay.
Got a couple things to point out here. AP News, California's Newsom wins second term. Is White House run next? Ooh, putting that out there already, huh?
I forgot that this is something that people want.
I don't know who those people are.
Yeah.
But here's the important thing here. Democrat Gavin Newsom easily won a second term as California's governor on Tuesday, beating a little-known Republican state senator by mostly ignoring him while campaigning against the policies of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Texas Governor Greg Abbott, two leading Republicans who also won re-election and, like Newsom, may run for president. Now, Basil, we know about the recall last year, right?
Right.
Larry Elders made some waves. There was all the Kevins. Remember a bunch of Kevins were trying to run. And
not the emus, by the way.
No, not the emus. This is I am vaccine. That's one of them. That's one of the Kevins, Kevin Faulconer. And the recall failed, and everyone's like, all right, well, we still have the midterms. It's coming up. And who's the guy running? Who's running against Newsom for the Republic, for the red wave in California? Can you name the individual?
I did not realize it until
I asked you this morning.
Until this article brought it up. I have no idea whatsoever or whosoever was running against Gavin.
Might be by design.
It worked. It's genius.
It was a second decisive statewide victory for Newsom in barely a year. Then it goes into the failed recall. Speaking to supporters in Sacramento with his wife and 4 children by his side, Newsom again drew contrasts between himself and DeSantis and Abbott, saying he is, quote, resolved to do more to advance that cause of freedom.
The cause. Okay.
Quote, we have governors that won their re-elections tonight in other states that are banning books, that are banning speech, that are banning abortion. And here we are in California moving in a completely different direction. Newsom said, quote, that's a deep point of pride. Yeah, pride before the fall there, Newsom. Don't speak too soon, buddy. Here's where it said Newsom's GOP opponent, State Senator Brian Dahl, could not raise enough money to run an effective campaign.
Brian Dahl?
Yes. A farmer from the state's rural northwest corner who also owns a trucking company spent the final weeks of the campaign trying to draw attention by driving a semi-truck around the state with a large campaign banner. Again.
So there's a farmer running against him with no budget?
No budget. Now, first off, where are the Republicans? Number one, you completely dropped the ball on this opportunity, which means they're all bought out. Secondly, they wait until the 6th paragraph in this AP article to even mention his name.
Oh, that's funny. That's really sad.
It's pathetic.
Yeah.
I think they took advantage of the fact that a lot of people are distracted, that the economics in this state are just as bad as anywhere else, but worse, magnified. And it continues here. With no political threats at home, Newsom has spent the past year signing a raft of liberal legislation that could help him win over Democratic voters in a contested presidential primary. So he's already got his sights set. He's got the ban the sale of new gas-powered cars by 2035. We know about that. His budget have paid for every 4-year-old to go to kindergarten for free. No, thank you. I don't want government Newsom paid education for my children. But
it's a nice investment, you know, to program your children.
But a potential Newsom presidential campaign would have to answer for a host of California's most stubborn problems, including an ever-expanding homeless population and an increase in crime that has contributed to a general sense of unease among voters.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
do they mention the exodus of California?
Yes, soaring inflation has only increased the state's high cost of living, contributing to California's first population decline and the loss of a congressional seat. Newsom has pledged to tackle some of those issues immediately in his second term, vowing to call a special session of the state legislature next month to pass a new tax on oil company profits as a way to combat the state's record high gas prices. Woo! There's your Newsom science right there. Let's tax oil companies.
Tax oil so that gas gets cheaper. That is literally opposed to basic economics.
When I read that, I literally
taxes
fell to my knees. It's just like, what?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, to just in case somebody needs a refresher on why that is, when corporations get taxed, they don't pay money that they weren't paying before. They just charge the consumer for the tax. Yeah. A corporation just will add the cost of that tax into the cost of their product. That's an oft ignored reason for keeping taxes on corporations low, is because every tax on a corporation is simply adding, it's basically a tax on its own customers. So, yeah, this is a disaster. I'm telling you, man. Look, I know you got your reasons, but it is becoming more and more insane trying to stay in California.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where if we can get him out, man.
You're going to have to do better than a nameless farmer. Look, I want a farmer. I want a nameless farmer to win, but it's got to have some sort of support.
I'm glad. Well, there's a couple more things to point out here because I think it's important. As for his next term as governor, Newsom has said he will focus on the extremes. And I have the quote here.
Okay.
Extreme drought, extreme weather, extreme polarization in our body politic as it relates to preserving and protecting democracy. Quote, the rights revolution has been rolled back in real time in so many red states. All of those things are very consequential, Newsom said after a debate last month. Quote, and this state has more to lose, more to gain than any other state in the country.
Yeah, those are great promises because the weather and droughts, acts of God or acts of nature or whatever, and unstoppable forces like political polarization, those are things that nobody could blame him for not fixing.
Yeah.
They're such enormous promises to make that if you don't actually accomplish anything, which you won't.
I just like the logic of, hey, Governor Newsom, what are you going to do about the homeless problem? We're going to tackle that extreme drought.
Yeah.
Oh, what about
we're going to tax the gas companies for the homeless people.
What about the homeless people? Yeah, but the extreme, polarizing body politic, we're going to handle it. Like, man, what is going on?
The midterms are over, or they are ending, or whatever. It's going to get dragged on, of course. Yeah. Over the past few days here, yesterday was election day, and some notable things, but nothing too interesting. Fetterman won over Oz.
Yeah.
The flag collapsing, man won over Oz. Look, I don't even know if that's even bad. I mean, Oz himself is a sort of horrific character, but okay. So that was kind of the most popular, or the most I don't know, the most covered race, at least.
Yeah.
Georgia, last I heard, was going to a runoff, which is interesting considering it's 2020, the role it played in the 2020 stuff and the Stop the Steal. Nevada and Arizona, last I checked, were still up in the air being counted. But there's an interesting, fun little detail here, and I'll just run through. I'm going to summarize for you. NBCnews.com headline: Vote machine glitches roils Arizona's Maricopa County and fuels false statements. Ooh, voting machine glitches. That's not a good sign for any reason or during any time, but especially when you're trying to prove that, the voting system in America is not, a piece of trash. Maricopa County has emerged as a flashpoint in the midterm elections after a state judge declined a last-minute effort to extend voting hours following widespread issues that led officials to use secure ballot boxes. Long story short, there was a glitch in glitch, obviously, we know. There's no such thing as a glitch. A glitch doesn't mean anything, doesn't communicate anything. It's just sort of a news word to not have to dig into technical issues.
Bro, you didn't notice the glitch in the Matrix?
So there's a glitch in the voting machines, which means they didn't use the voting machines. So the GOP sort of alliance there said, hey, the machines are glitching. Can we extend voting hours? All they were asking for was to extend the time that people are allowed to vote, because without the machines, there was some time taken to
it's like a soccer game. It's like the end of a soccer game.
Over.
You got the bonus time, and just make up for the pauses.
Yeah, and so they were frustrated and said, "Hey, some people may not have gotten to vote. Can we extend voting times?" And a Democrat judge said, "No, we are not extending voting times."
But the machines are no. Then there's no votes.
No. And, it's interesting because Democrats are always talking about voter suppression, disenfranchising voters, making things as easy as possible, opening up more voting places, extending hours, literally extending voting hours was part of the sort of Democrat vote, voting whatever bill, or it wasn't a bill, but this is part
their talking point of
of their own thing is extend voting hours, make more places to vote. And they had a chance here, but no, they didn't want to extend it. Now, here's a quote. Everyone is still getting to vote. No one has been disenfranchised. Bill Gates, chairman of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors.
Bill Gates? What's he do?
A Republican.
I know. This is Bill Gates. We've heard about this Bill Gates.
More than one Bill Gates. Different Bill Gates. Yeah. So long story short, they're saying, no, we're not going to extend voting hours. Everybody's fine. And it's just a fun opportunity to watch the two sides of the same coin switch arguments for just a moment. And of course, it's making people uneasy because people are already uneasy with the voting machines, and that of course was a core problem in the 2020 election. So. That's about as interesting as it gets.
Well, there was
there you go.
It says in the article that about 60 of the county's 223 voting locations reported problems. That's 322 backwards. So they had the skull and bones reversed thing there.
Yeah. So there you go. I don't know. We're going to kind of keep an eye on exciting things, but we're kind of bored with the midterms anyways. But if anything exciting happens, we'll come back and check in with you guys.